So I saw this thread sort of blossoming into something bigger, and I wanted to talk about it because I think the 2024 versus 2025 Dokkan debate has raged on long enough, and I kind of wanted to put to bed this idea that like 2024 or 2022 or anything is like the best year in Dokkan. Maybe it's the best feeling for you, but we're going to get into why 2025 is sort of undisputed, even though you might hear me oftentimes say, hey, Dokkan, what are you doing in 2025? Hey, this is a fumble. Hey, this isn't good. Hey, you should, reintroduce new content or, take the game in a different direction. The thing about having conversations like this is that on the internet, and especially on Twitter, people take, oh, you don't like this thing? That must mean you hate it. You hate every single thing about it, and you think it's like insurmountably bad, right? And we don't do that around here. So for me, as someone who makes videos saying, hey, the content here isn't very good, or we didn't really get a good character for this, or the direction they're going with their characters doesn't make sense with the events they're releasing, I can still look at Dokkan in 2025 and be like, well, as a product, because it is a gacha. At the end of the day, this is a product. As a product that you consume with your time, 2025 is literally the year to get into the game. Undeniably. It's actually not close. So it spawned from this. I'm not really going to read this because, we have Zed being like, well, 2024 best year of Dokkan, but then we had like this, and this. And then we have Rody essentially saying, yeah, but we, on the other hand, have this, blah, blah, blah. And that's not really anything. So Ani responds, basically just showing that apparently 2024 is still better than 2025. I could argue 3 more 2024 units down. And this is sort of a list of characters that we've gotten who are good. And this is a new Kale, by the way. Maybe I could expand this out so people can see the list flip proper. There we go. And so this is a list of characters that Ani considers good. And would I disagree? No, I don't think so. Every one of these characters has been good at a time. I would say Gogeta could go down, maybe. Like, I'm thinking good as in, like, good as every other character on this list. I could say that the GT duo have no home, because GT just isn't a team, but they are good themselves. And then this is pretty obvious. So, speaks for itself. A lot of things that you don't really need. You don't really need me, wagging my finger and being like, well, what do you think of this? Why are we acting like every year doesn't have mid-releases? 2025 just has more releases while having a similar amount to fumbled ones. Also, 2025 good units will age significantly better than the 2024 ones. Look at GA Vegeta, Year 10 Fusions, blah, blah, blah. They will hate you for telling the truth. They will just have to accept the truth. Yeah. If Go On, and especially Go Freeze are in mid, feels a roadie since I know these items, this would be my pure thoughts. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, Go Frieza should be in 2025, by the way. Or good, by the way. Go Frieza can't stop ending up on teams because they're an exchange unit. That character is always on teams. But this brought us to the actual inciting incident, which we're going to read through the Minato thread here and just talk about everything Dokkan's gone right and why sort of wagging your finger at 2025 Dokkan is a lesson in futility. And again, this isn't to say that you as a player playing the game using your time can't enjoy something less. But if we're looking at this with some sort of objectivity as a product, as something you consume, as something that is inherently capitalist because it is asking you to spend money to get these characters, Dokkan 2025 is unmatched. It really is. It's short order. So 2025 is the greatest Dokkan year yet for more than just unit releases. This is a big one. But the haters won't tell you that, so they can be negative about the very few underwhelming releases, 1 of 2. So, we have the 10th anniversary campaign, of course, crazy. I believe this is, I could be wrong, this is where we got the thing to pull like a free, completely free premium 10-year LR release, right? Like, crazy. Skill effects are now organized. Yeah, this is amazing. This is just great UI. Finally, Dokkan modernizing. The user interface updated, I would say, is less so. I mean, it's pretty good, but certainly there are hiccups there. And battle motions, I would say, have been good and underwhelming in, pretty equal order. There are some that are great. There are some that are not so great. Let me zoom in here. So worldwide celebration is being updated and will likely now return the Annie DFE LRs, and we're getting more ways to get free summons every month on top of getting consistently more stones than we have in previous years. This is 100% true, by the way. If you guys have been keeping up, like if you've just been playing Dokkan, if you have like not been slacking on your shit, I have just been pumping stones. Like I still have content that I need to get done, fights that I consider less important, and typically I'll just leave those fights for later. But if you are just playing the game and you're not pulling down every single time, gotta go 0 stones every single time, you should have a ton. I have 2,200, and mind you, I got lucky on banners. I've been insanely lucky on banners, but as someone who doesn't really spend on the game, remember, I spend for the subscription, which is $10 a month. That's it, period. If even that, sometimes I forget to renew it. You know what I mean? So I have 2,200 stones. I spent down to, what was it, 1,800 on the hit banner, hitting Goku, and I'm back to 2,200 and like 30 something. Like this has been a phenomenal year, and I'm not even done getting everything that I can get. But yes, so we're getting a global campaign right around here, and then a Tenabata that they are saying should be equal to like a half anniversary or an anniversary. This is like a crazy run. Extra bonuses, April Fools this year was also the best so far. Yeah, that's probably true. And we've gotten the most vast redstone lineup yet. It's also true. One of the things I've started saying is that I am sort of disillusioned by free-to-play characters. You know, Bardock, DKP, etc. Some people really like them, right? Some people really like them. But for my money, I think the best free-to-play characters are the Super Easy A's. The Super Easy A's, and you could say, well, they're not technically free-to-play, and it's like, well, I mean, they're giving them out for free. You know what I mean? They're essentially a character you get for free. So that is just me personally, but obviously I understand that some people are a little more stringent on that. The free summons, as well as this system, which should be phenomenal. If this lands, if this like isn't some trash, if this isn't some trash, and I imagine it won't be, and every time you summon, you just get a bunch of freebies, like as a free-to-play player, like for example, I don't have Great Vegeta. You know, I started playing the year after he was a Carnival LR, and I've just never pulled him. If this helps me get that top tier character, that top, 10, 12 character in the game, and I was already pulling for, new LR Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, like, I mean, what are we talking about, right? There's just so many small things that Dokkan has done in a row, and mind you, Dokkan is making money. Like, we talk about money a lot when it comes to Dokkan, like, oh, Legends is like not making that much, and then Dokkan's making way more, and then, oh, Dokkan's revenue must be hurting, and then Dokkan's being stingy. Dokkan's making a lot of money. Dokkan has consistently top charts. Dokkan is competing with Pokemon on releases, like for top grossing. Like, Dokkan's making a lot of money. And obviously it's an IP, so that's a huge chunk of it, but it's making a lot of money for Bamco. For them to be this generous, that we're getting free pulls on the premiums, and we're getting, 2 more free multis on the premium in a month, like, so 3 free multis every single time they release like a new character. And I don't know, like, it gets to a point where we can have the conversation about like, oh, I didn't like this, and maybe I wanted the game to go in a different direction, but ultimately it didn't. But if we're just talking purely for your time, like, I have since saving for the 10th anniversary, which my saving started last year's worldwide download celebration, I didn't pull on any of that shit. Why would I pull on Namek Vegeta? Why would I pull on Goku and Piccolo, or Gohan and Piccolo? Why would I pull on this and that, right? I didn't even pull on Daima, I don't think. I just saved for the 10th Annie. Since saving, I don't think I've been under 1,500 stones. And I know I've gotten lucky, but you have to remember, I'm also just making so many stones from the generosity that they're doing, right? Like, I pulled a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan dupe off tickets. It's just like, and I just want to talk about this because I think it is one of the things where we'll get into this. So with Super Saiyan, Minato, you didn't need to say all this. It is May, Lamau. The year isn't even halfway over. I think it's every other day, so I'm tired of it. This is true. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you don't need to say all this, but like you kind of also do, because people forget that when you criticize something, you're not saying that the entire thing is like this house of cards, just dog shit. You know, no one shined a turd and put it in front of you. But so it bears repeating sometimes to, like, you know, organize motherfuckers' thoughts, because the people on Twitter have like brain problems, right? They're radicalized by, you know, terrible algorithms. You know, they sit in this cesspool and they brew this hate, and they're unable to just like take in information. When I say, I wish SSBBK is, or SSBKK is like stronger and I think they should buff him, it doesn't mean that like Dokkan just had a 2025 fumble year, but it does mean that there are still glaring issues with the format that I think Dokkan could easily address, because look how progressive they've been this year. When I talk about fumbles in Dokkan in 2025, it's only because 2025 has been so good for the game, for the overall product that Dokkan is. This is the best year to get into Dokkan. Period. It is. There has been no better time to get into Dokkan. 90% of Dokkan's fun for me comes from difficult content, so the quality of life is cool and all, but I genuinely think the content has been the worst it's ever been. Running events without fusions feels like I'm doing a challenge run. That sucks to me. I do think that this is pretty fair. And the reason you can nice the content, but I just personally don't see much different. 100% versus nice for the game struggling. Even if let me just read through this. Yeah, I think this is like kind of fair, where it's like I don't know anything about the 7th anniversary, so I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to go into this because I don't think it's too important. But what I will say is that this is a big thing for me that I stick on, because Dokkan has been so good at everything else. You know, just to reiterate, if I'm hard on Dokkan's content releases, it's only because I think they could be like, it could literally be the perfect year. They just need to lock in on the content side. Don't release evasion characters if you're going to put dodge canceling in as the hardest like non-festival battles fight or non-battle hardened fight, and you just keep dropping, you know, evasion. It's like, it brings to mind, what does Dokkan think the player base is doing? Are they aware of the fights that we consider challenging? Maybe not, right? I mean, you know, for JP, apparently JP likes World Tournament, and no one fucking likes World Tournament, right? So right now, my only complaint after many months, I length of the content. Having 40-minute long content is boring, man. A slug, especially when a big part of it is challenging. Reduce red zone and BHF some 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll probably like to wear more. And like I said, it goes back to content, right? It always goes back to content. Yeah, I can't wait for the interesting content they could do. Yeah. So I think a lot of this is fair, right? I think a lot of this is fair, and you know, I think it's fair because it's what I talk about. It's what I talk about every single time in these videos, right? So I think we just need the separation. You know, our big boy brains, you know, our big monkey Saiyan brains can handle two things. We have two hands. We can hold up 2025 as being the best year to get into Dokkan, and we can also reflect on how uninspired the content train has been, how unfortunate some of the releases have been. When you hammer players with content that is as difficult as it's been, and then you don't reward them with characters, it makes the game 1,000 times less interesting than just getting free shit. Obviously, I mean, that's fair, because ultimately all of this free stuff doesn't matter unless there's something fun to do with it, right? I could pull every single character with tickets, but if I don't want to use the characters because they get washed in the events, then did the tickets even matter? You know, this is something that Truth does a lot, where he says you're getting free things, and it's like, I don't want to do worldwide download celebrations terrible content from last year. It's bad. You can say we got content, but to say that like you shit on a plate in front of me and I'm supposed to eat it, it's like, what are we talking about, you know? So I do get that side of it. I think the reason that I personally get frustrated with Dokkan currently is because I think they're having such a knockout, bang out year. So it just seems like whatever that department is, whatever department is working on units, whatever department is structuring events, they kind of just don't get it. But yeah, quick little rant video talking about this. I thought this was interesting. Dokkan as a community is really funny because much like I guess every other entity on Twitter, they lose the plot a little bit. They lose the plot. So a bunch of dissenting opinions, but like none as fair as they should be. And yeah, so here it is. It's obvious that it's the best by far in terms of free stuff and quality of life, but to a lot of people, none of that stuff matters if they can't even enjoy the gameplay. And that's what it is at the end of the day, is that games are supposed to be fun. And while Dokkan has really nailed this portion, it's also a bit of a lark to be like, because I hate being this guy. Minato and Truth, especially Truth, make content for the game. So there is a fun incentive for them to actually do these showcases of bad or mid characters and go, oh my god, look at the sky is falling, or oh my god, you know, maybe they're not so bad. Whereas for the majority of players, which is the majority of the people on the game, 99% of people playing Dokkan are not making videos, and they're certainly not getting money for it from like YouTube. They're going, well, what the fuck? And I just wanted to add that in there just to say that like we as a community in totality, the figureheads of Dokkan, not myself, I'm nobody, but the figureheads of Dokkan need to also understand that their enjoyment of the game comes wrapped with an incentive, you know. So with all that being said, like if you like the video, subscribe to the club, we all go make it, and peace.